Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to a very, very special Phoenix, Crystal Phoenix show. Today we are going to meet some of my fellow co-authors in an amazing book called Speechless. Um, and well, if you look in the top corner, you will see the QR code there. That is for this amazing book. And I'm actually going to bring up first the beautiful Lonnie Ray, who is the editor, publisher, and the one that got us all together, you know, to explain a little bit of what inspired her to write this particular one. As you guys know, I've written in two other of her books, the Rattled Awake series, which is very near and dear to my heart. And we will talk more about that towards the end. But for today, we're here all about Speechless. Welcome, Lonnie. I love
Hey,
you. How are you?
I'm so good. How you doing? You're looking
Um,
good. Happy to be here. Yes.
so I would love for you to give us the backstory on why you decided to do Speechless. Now, I know you well enough to know you're always about giving everybody a chance to tell their story, you know, rattled awake, all of it. So, what inspired Speechless besides Michelle? Because you had this vision before Michelle's passing.
I did. There's a couple things, Crystal. First of all, when the book before this was my fur baby wrote this book. Candid
I love
comments.
that book.
Right? It's a great book. And I love, the opportunity. It became evident that telling from a third party perspective, telling a story from that perspective, like Paulo told his Dark Night of the Soul story from Sammy the cat and his perspective. And it became really evident that it was easier to tell a story from a third party. And so that was one piece. And the second piece, Crystal, was I did a poll on LinkedIn and I asked which is more painful. And easily the huge majority said the worst thing of all is not feeling understood. And that's still, it really gets to me. And when I was just, wordsmithing, I was like, when you feel understood, like I get louder. When we have Lafayette on, maybe we can talk about that and why people get louder when they feel misunderstood and how ineffective it is, but we don't know what else to do. So what I realized is that being rendered speechless for any reason, whether it's dementia, being nonverbal, or being very verbal, but you're dealing with someone who refuses to hear you, has got to be one of the most frustrating experiences we share as a collective. And with that in mind, I started thinking, well, and then Hawk came in, gosh, and Hawk said, this could really help the parents want to tell the story. A lot of on LinkedIn in particular, there's people who are busting their bum to make a business happen. And what we don't know behind the scenes is they are challenged. They have a nonverbal child or they have a nonverbal parent and they're caregivers. And I really wanted to give them a voice. But what happened was they didn't come forward. Other people did. And when Michelle passed away, and came to me in a vision, not a vision. She came to me audibly. I was crying outside. She's like, I don't cry, Lonnie. I'm here. I'm fine. I'm here. I'm right here. Please tell my story. And I was
That's how
really,
you got me on the project, actually.
it opened the door for you and Charles and Alicia. The whole project shifted gears from, like I said, completely nonverbal. I was looking for therapists to share their angle. It was real because I love to help promote businesses through these because the authority, credibility, and expertise is instantaneous when you're a published author. And it was like, why isn't this working? And then all of a sudden it did. And so being willing to let go and go with the flow, even though it was super hard. I didn't get to have my feelings about Michelle until after we published the book. So it was a couple weeks later. and she moved a lot of lives and influences a lot of people to this day. So giving a voice to the voiceless really was Hawk's idea. And so we kind of, parlayed, and this is the beauty of collaboration is, you bring something to the table and she brings something to the table, and all of a sudden, we got a think tank going on. We didn't even know it. Here we are.
And with that, I'm actually going to bring up the beautiful Serena and Lafayette because
yay.
They're both of their stories are amazing. I did shoot Hawk a message, but he's where again? I know he's overseas.
Norway. They've been having troubles over. Hey, ladies, what's happening? All right. Let the party begin.
So, now, just because I really enjoy doing this, I'm gonna put Lafayette on the spot because I know it's gonna fluster her. And Lafayette, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your chapter? I just think you're larger than life, and I love it. We connected right away when we met during the Zooms that we were doing for the project and everything, and we just connected instantly, and have been talking all for the last 2 weeks and everything. So why don't you tell us your inspiration for your chapter?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I don't even know where to start, because when you say tell me about your life, then I'm like, ooh, which part? Because I'm like, I have my whole therapist by day, poker player by night thing going, along with 6 kids and a crazy ass life, trying to write chapters for books and stuff. Like, which part? But no, my inspiration for the book really was what I've been speaking to for a really long time as a therapist. And it's a philosophy that I've developed that I call the Lafayette way, right? So my inspiration for the chapter in our Speechless book was first and foremost to kind of help people to understand better how sometimes people are kind of rendered speechless, right? They may have the ability to verbalize, their needs when things are going okay, but when it's a tough moment and they enter into what I call red alert brain, then it can become almost impossible, right? To get the words out of your mouth that, really convey what's really going on with you, for real, right? I always speak to the honest truth. What's the honest truth? Because it's really hard to get to the real truth for ourselves. And I know that's a lot, and oh my goodness, I can over explain that. But yeah, my inspiration was to kind of give a voice to those who maybe sometimes shut down and cannot formulate the words that they need. So people with trauma background, people on the autism spectrum, the higher functioning end of the autism spectrum, some severe ADHD and other things that people, maybe deal with. Maybe it's not even a diagnosis. Maybe they just kind of enter into red alert brain because that's how they're made up, right? Sometimes they are really they work against themselves, and they end up not having a true voice, right? Not one that reflects what their true needs are. And then the other side of it was, I had to integrate what it is I've been teaching through the Lafayette way, my 4 steps, which I'm sure we might talk about later or whatever, or maybe for another show, I don't know. But anyway, I had to integrate my Lafayette way into my poker play because I tend towards red alert brain myself, coming from a trauma past. So I've had to apply all the techniques that I've been giving to people for years in order to play decent poker. Because if not, I would go on tilt all of the time, jump tables, cuss everybody out. There'd be all kinds of stuff happening at the poker table. So in order to not have that happen anymore, because it used to, then I had to apply my own stuff. So it was also the merging of that into my world of poker. Was that enough?
Absolutely. Guys, I did drop Miss Lafayette's YouTube channel link in the chat. It's along with Sabrina's and Lonnie's. You guys have seen Lonnie in my chat before, but now I'm going to pass the mic over to Sabrina. Same question, hon. what it was your inspiration for your chapter in the book, and what is your chapter about? And then Lonnie gets to put me on the hot seat after.
Yes, thank you. I don't know why I hear my echo in there. Hopefully that will go away. That's like my least favorite thing. Okay, good. So I guess my inspiration started 3 or 4 years ago when I found out that I really am an introvert. I knew I was shy as a kid. I was held back in first grade, and I just thought I was shy and stupid because I wasn't able to go on and move forward with the other kids in my class. So I just put on a label that I was stupid, and I pretty much believed that my whole life. And the 3 or 4 years ago when I was working with my business coach, she kind of pulled it out of me, and she was like, "Well, yeah, you were shy, but you were also introvert. And there's 4 types of introvert, and I was definitely an anxious introvert because anytime I would have to do something new, I would overthink it. I'd start sweating and my mouth would dry out. I would not like to talk to anybody. It was awful. So I was like, oh, okay. And so I started doing a little bit of digging into being an introvert and relating to other introverts. And I started my networking for introverts call. And we meet once a month. We've been meeting for 3 years now, since October 2021. Yeah. And it's just a safe place that I've created for other introverts to come together. And we just learn together. We can open up together. And I just love it. So then actually, a book has been on my heart for 10 plus years. And it's so crazy how this all just came into play within the last month. I had a dream about a book. I woke up on October 15th this year, and I journaled about it because I'm like, why am I dreaming about a book? So I journaled about it. It was October 15th that morning, and I just kept thinking about it and talking about it. So I opened up LinkedIn one day, and there was Lonnie's face. I didn't even know what she posted about. But I took it as a sign from God to
I'm glad you took it as a good sign from God.
It was a good sign, yes. I mean, obviously.
Oh my goodness. But also you met a previous Rattled Awake author, Chef Jill Sullivan.
Yes, that's what I was just getting to.
Oh, sorry.
So, that's
I'll go
okay.
on mute.
Chef Jill introduced me to Lonnie probably about a year ago because Chef Jill came to my networking for introverts, and somehow we were talking about books and how she's in, at the time, I think she was just in one of your books. Now she's in 3 of your books. And when I opened up LinkedIn and saw Lonnie's face, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm taking this as a sign. So I went to her website, I booked a call, and on October 30th, we had our first call. And as I was telling her this story, she was like, well, my next book is called Speechless. And both of us were just like completely in awe. She was emotional. I was emotional. We just knew that it had to be. So all that being said, I talked to my husband and I took a leap of faith to go for it. And then I became a published co-author by November 14th. I mean, 1 month, my dream came true. It's been amazing. So I speak to the introvert and their heart because I know how they feel when they're not able to speak up or, just feel like they don't have a voice in an extroverted world.
I love that. And in the chat, actually, there's quite a few of us that are introverted like that. Would you be willing to put the link for your community in the chat for anybody
Yes.
that would like to join that, your vision of like networking for introverts?
Yeah. I will do that. Thank you.
One of my very dear friends, Misha, she goes, I'm the most extroverted introvert you'll ever meet. And Lonnie's known me long enough to know that I say that all the time. I was like, hey, that's my line.
Yep.
And I do. I love your chapter. I love all the chapters. They're all fun. I guess it's my turn to be on the hot seat, Lonnie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, this was a great conversation that created a flow that led to your door, which, the inspiration for giving homage, an ode to those who have passed, with a legacy that should last, a voice that should be heard, was heavy on my heart. And out of the blue, Crystal and I had a conversation, and then she's just like, "Oh my God, I have a story." And I was like, "Take it away, Crystal. I'm all ears. Really, I am. I'm all ears. Tell me what it is, and I'll listen."
How many
And
times have we had this conversation?
And what you had to say was phenomenal about the influence. Your family has impacted your life to this day, and the influence that your sister has had on you is something that everybody needs in their life. And if they don't have it directly, if they could borrow it from you and your sister, it would change everything.
So, my sister, my chapter was about my older sister. I've talked about it in a couple of different things over the last week, encouraging different people that I felt would be impacted by it, as I have posted the audio recording of it under my podcast list for my chapters and anthologies. But it's about my older sister and how she bucked the system completely. She was the black sheep in our family because, as you can tell, I'm very, very, white and everything. But she
and everything.
I'm a white girl.
You can say it. Say it.
I'm a country white girl. I listen. Now, granted, my playlist is so bipolar. It's not funny, but I mean, I competition pistol shoot. I know how to ride horses. I played paintball, all of it, But my sister Susan, on the other hand, the term wigger, and I'm not saying this in a derogatory way, but it's the best way to describe my sister. She fit into the ghetto black community perfectly. I mean, she would dye her hair the funky purple. She had the claws that a lot of the black girls wear for like acrylics and stuff. She even used the hair product that they do. Wow. He just fit in there. And it was just, she was always authentic. It did not matter. I mean, we were a beauty pageant household. My other sister, Sandy, was Miss Hemisphere. I was Little Miss Florida at the age of 2. It was a beauty pageant household. And she said, no, I'm going to listen to Elvis. I'm going to listen to Michael Jackson. I'm going to be me. And it didn't matter. She just was always authentic. She was always kind. She would give the shirt off of her back. But when she was growing up, they didn't have a lot of the testing for learning disabilities that we do now. And they just kind of pushed her through school. She was a little slow, but her heart made up for it, and the woman could cook. But she always did like Jamaican style stuff, like curries and all that kind of fun stuff. And she just lived her life, authentically. And just, she didn't care what anybody said or did.
She did, though. She cared because, and this is, I'm sorry to jump in on your story, but I think this is important because I've been known to say, I don't give a F, but I do. And we do. And so for the person that's feeling the pressure to conform like a beauty pageant family, like you grew up in, or some other standard, and they're like, I just want to be myself. Let me be myself. And I don't care what you think. Your sister did care. She still wanted her mom's approval. Yeah. She still needed it. And I want to acknowledge that because none of us are robots. Not yet. We're not cyborgs yet. Let's keep it that way. But anyway, she was very charismatic and very demonstrative, which I think is amazing. And we still do care. So finding that balance of how do I be myself with people who don't want to accept that is so hard. And, Toss the Crown, Embrace the Claws is such a great story. It's so well told for anyone, any age, who's struggling to break out of a shell that they were born in or put themselves in. Like Sabrina, you put yourself in a box, in a shell, and to bust out and to still realize there we care, but what we have to do is be true to ourselves first. And I love that that's the message, and that you embody that.
Well, I want to say hi to our wonderful Hawk, who did make it, and thank you. For
Hey,
giving
Hawk.
me
My
the chance
apologies.
to give my sister a voice, because she passed away January 5th of 2022. So
Oh,
I did appreciate that.
yeah.
And it was a fun story to write. So
Yeah, you did an amazing job. Hey, Hawk, how you doing?
Not too bad. I just came from a political meeting, so that's why I'm late. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Good.
But
Yeah.
well, welcome. And so you missed the beginning. Basically, I've been putting everyone on the hot seat, having you guys tell what your inspiration for your chapter in Speechless was.
My inspiration was having worked with the voiceless, the speechless for so many years. And that is what I loved about the project, that it illuminated the many ways you can be speechless in, that somebody takes away your voice, say that you're not worthy, that we should listen to you. That is one way. Others, it's actually being like the autistic boy I wrote about. He was voiceless. He didn't have a say at all when I first met him. And then we helped give him a voice through speaking, I want to eat, or I want soda, all the words that he got through using his body to speak for him. And this is such a huge spectrum, but I think that is something that is so important in today's world, because there are so many voices that are not heard. There are so many people who have knowledge, who have so much to give to the world, and they're not being allowed to, because somebody has decided that they have an opposing view. I'm not going to talk about any small viruses or something like that, but there are so many forces that try to subjugate people and say that, well, this is not aligned with the current agenda. And therefore, I think this project is so important, and I love how it turned out, where we can really feel like how your sister was different, wigger, and still she spoke with such a strong, compelling voice, and she became so important in your life. And that is something I really love about Speechless.
We can't hear you, Crystal.
I always forget, and it's funny, Lonnie was actually the one that brought it to my attention about muting during lives or audio rooms, because a lot of people, we all have our tells when it comes to like PTSD or anything, and I hum. And it's not even that I'm stressed out right now, it's just natural. It just happens. So Lonnie had made a comment to me one day, telling me, hey, it can be distracting, so try and remember to mute yourself. So with my wonderful, mic right here, all I have to do is just hit that little button. and I forget to turn it off, but it's true, why am I going to distract from my other speakers? So, but I just wanted to go into the comments real quick and call attention, because you guys have, like, sharing your stories and everything have brought some stuff up, like it's like we all have our stories. Awakened by the Looking Glass, her she's actually going to be sharing her story, her daughter's angel story, in the Survivor book. Yeah, and it's heartbreaking, and she's been and then they were going to do a movie, and like you saw in the message, the person that was going to be directing and producing the movie turned out to be another abuser, and it's like there's people like us who are legit, want to give that voice, want to help the world to be a better place. And then you have people that take advantage of it. And that's not right, and give people like us a bad name, and give survivors a bad name. And that's what we're all here to fight against. I love the fact that Lafayette is, a therapist by day, poker player by night. I'm constantly saying that the musician Ava Under Fire is who I want to be when I grow up. Because she's a therapist by day and a rock star by night. Like, even on tour, she keeps up with her appointments with her clients, and those are the people that I want to be like, that I try to be. And I know those that know me, you're all going to be like, well, you already are. Yeah, I love you guys. I already know what you're going to say, but I still keep striving. Everybody on this stage and in the chat has influenced my life in one way or another, and 99% of it positive, and that's great. And I love the fact that I influence them. Lonnie and I are constantly talking just different ideas, or just BSing about, even going roller skating and, fun memories. It's not always about work. Being there and just being a friend with a colleague and just letting them have that inner child moment is just as important to me. When it came to Speechless, it brought me down memory lane with my sister, which was a great thing, and all of our stories mean something in a different way. They all have a different message and a different theme, but at the end of the day, we all came together to put this wonderful book together of awareness and love and kindness, in hopes that the rest of the world will start to embrace our mindsets. So I'm going to stop rambling and let somebody else take the mic.
I really appreciate that, and I'd love to pick up on it, because what we need is right. What we all need is to know ourselves and then be ourselves out loud, right? Like, that's the best thing. That's what we were born to do. It's what fabric we're cut. That's the expression we came to express, but in doing so, that an overused word perhaps is authenticity. But what else are you going to be if you're not being? I mean, you are always yourself, but are you all the way live? And that was the message that Michelle Lax left in her wake. And the legacy is, please tell your story, get it out there while you can. If you have trouble finding your voice, check out Sabrina's chapter. If you're having trouble with how you can regulate your emotions so you can better express yourself, LaFay's chapter is amazing. If you have are challenged in ways like neurodiversity, Hawk knows what he's talking about. 22 years in social work. The guy's amazing. I don't mean to talk about you like you're not here, but yeah, you are. I mean, like, you're amazing, and are helping so many people in so many ways. There's another story that he wrote, just by the way, about a man who was incredibly talented, did lots of firsts, and he slipped away right into dementia. and didn't have a voice and didn't have recognition. He lost it all. And I'll go right back to Michelle and also to your story, Crystal, in that live out loud, LOL, now while you can, and hopefully you always will, but maybe you won't. And so living life to the fullest to me is living with no regrets. And like, that's the thing that the old people, when they get interviewed, they're like, what's the thing that you know, that you want to leave the younger generation with? Do it all, do it all, do it all while you can. Don't die with regrets. Right? So like we're here, we're vital, we're still fogging a mirror, for goodness sakes. Let's really find our voices, because right now more than ever, there is a bigger agenda to silence us, to, comply, Roboton, do what they tell you to do. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm not down for that. And there you go. No, we have got to maintain our sovereignty as the individuals, and the God-given DNA, the calling, however you want to put it, to really find our voice and share it. Because if we don't, then what? Why would you do that? There's somebody out there that needs to hear you. And you guys have done a great job sharing what you have to say. Go ahead, Hawk.
Yeah, here you're talking about one of my pet peeves, how the New Age movement says, "Oh, we should just sit and love on people, and we just gotta sit and feel the love in our hearts," as if we are not in a war. We are at war. We are at war against big pharma, for instance. We are at war against people who wants us to simply be sheep and just follow the agenda. And we got to really start trusting in ourselves, knowing that we do have value. We are also important. It's like, it's a cliche, I know. Put on your oxygen mask before you put on the one to your neighbor or your kid or whatever, whoever sitting in the next seat. But we got to also remember ourselves. We have to say that we also have something unique to bring to the world.
Yes.
Our lived experience is important. It's not as if the years that this group here has all the things that we've gone through, as if they don't have any value, that you should just listen to WHO or some random organization that says that we have the science and all that says that this is how the world is. Science is fluid. Yesterday's magic is today's science, and that is something that people tend to forget. That we live in a world that's moving and moving and moving and moving. Some people want us to stay here and now and just be a sheep. I'd rather not. And it's yeah.
Ask why before you comply. You can't question authority, right? That's I had that.com. Trust me, I did. It's kind of Galaham. Because if we don't use our voices, we're going to lose them. And I so appreciate the. Let me just do a little picture here. This book came in the other. Yeah, can you see it? Yes. I'm so happy with this book, guys. The paperback's on sale. There you go. And then you guys, thank you, Crystal. It's a very unique book. And I just wanted to explain that, the challenge of showing how do we translate thought to form. We write it. Writing makes it real. It gets it out of your head on paper where you can deal with it. And that's the value of these short stories. They will impact your life. They will influence you. They will change things for the better because we have lived to tell about it. I'm fired up, huh? But this is such a good book. And thank you guys so much. And to have and hold this, you guys, thank you.
Okay, now you guys, I have to say that this book, honestly, is one of the best books I've ever read. I hear my echo.
Wow.
It's gonna bug me a little bit. I rarely, first of all, I don't really love to read because I did a lot of college and I figure I shouldn't have to read anymore. But but no, I take it. No, if it's really good though, as I was going through the book, I had to literally stop and start like taking quotes and notes down because I was like, oh my, this is so good. Like so many great like 1-2 liners. There was so much wisdom in there. And I have to say, and I guess not to mean to try to sound conceited, but I'm pretty unimpressed with a lot of things. you know, but this in particular, because all the drones out there, it's just boring. But this particular book, it seriously like it is life changing. I went through each of the chapters taking notes, and seriously, guys, even when I read my own chapter, I had to take a couple of notes because I couldn't believe that I wrote that. I was like, oh, that's good.
Bravo.
I love that.
I'm a
I love
weirdo like that. And mostly, seriously, when I'm writing from the heart anyway. So my brain typically, it kind of maybe it may sift through there, but usually coming from all, the heart area, right? But such good stuff. Everybody's so authentic with their shares. And I love how what I call brave, or everybody is, because it is brave nowadays to be authentic, or I think maybe it's just brave in general to be authentic, especially if you've been through anything in life, right? So I have to say I was truly impressed. Like, and if you guys have not, seriously, that's not like a sales thing or whatever. If you have not like downloaded or ordered your book, get it, because it will change your life. One of the chapters, if not all of them, will speak to you. So
That's exactly right. That's the beauty of thank you, Lafayette. That is the beauty of collaboration books, chapter books like this,
Yes.
because there is something for everyone, especially in this book. It is especially inspiring and useful. It's not just lofty ideas. These are ideas in motion. These are people on the move. There's right. There's instructions. There's hints. There's groups you can join. Look at Crystal all the time. She's embodying what her sister left behind only all the time. Pick a person, pick a chapter, pick a thing that you resonates for you right now. And as somebody else said, keep it, because I think it was Alicia, one of our co-authors, said later on there's going to be another one that's going to resonate for you. There just will be. Yeah.
So first, I wanted to put that comment out big for you. The Magic of Healing channel is amazing. She's all about mental health and helping people grow. And
Yay.
she's picking up the book. Now, Lonnie, I had already spoken to. I told you I had a YouTube friend that does book reviews and vlogs on, and she's here today. I hadn't actually been able to get a hold of her, and I just asked her if she'd be willing to do that review for us, and she has agreed.
Yay.
So, Jenny, please check my message to you on Instagram, and we will get that all settled out for you to be able to do that for us. I really, truly do appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody. And thank you, Misha, for being my wonderful mod and dropping links like I love. She has been dropping everybody's YouTube link and all of ours up here on stage and the ones that are in the chat for everybody, because that's what we're all about, supporting each other, whether it's supporting each other by buying each other's books or liking and subscribing to everybody else's channel and getting all of that awareness out, because just about everybody that's in the chat right now, it has a, mental health inspiring channel. Yeah. Lawless, we're all about having some fun and laughs and stuff. But at the end of the day, we're all about lifting each other up and supporting each other and building community like we do, like we have with the Rattled Awakes with this book, that we try to build on LinkedIn as well. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody on
Thank you, guys.
in the comments. The chat is amazing. You guys are all very amazing, and it's awesome. And thank you, everybody. The link for the book is listed in the chat, but I also have it posted as the banner, or you can scan the little QR code in the corner. It'll take you right to it. So
now's the time to get it, y'all. Holidays are coming. I'm gonna do a ho 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 moment because I'm a promo ho from a long time ago, yo. I'm gonna tell you that this right. Sorry, Crystal. Sorry, not sorry. This is not. It's a great gift, and you can order through Amazon. It's on sale right now. It's gonna go up December 1st. So consider it a Black Friday special or whatever. I don't care what you want to call it. This is somebody's gonna really appreciate that you did this, because it's such an invigorating book. There's some aspect of all. I think with Sabrina, with the introverts, when we first met, we both cried. Like I'm like, your work is so important. And like right? It is. Yeah. It is. There's in us. All of us have a moment, and she defines difference between introvert and shy. But we all have that, and so thank you for buying the book. The universal applicability of everyone's chapter in here will change your world. It can only, and success comes from the inside out, right? If you're, I'm going to get to you last, Hawk, because you bring awareness of an incredible. I'll just leave it at that. A lot. Lafayette's chapter is phenomenal. Because so many of us are still kind of knee jerking. We want to knee the jerk, right? When somebody and poker, this is we do stop. We do. When we were talking, and I said, you've been able to take your own workshop and apply it to poker and become a better player. Yeah, 15 years. I love hate this game, something like that. The applicability of her therapeutic model that has revolutionized lives into the sport of poker has been so eye-opening and so incredibly relevant, because I said, how many times in a game do you get sucker punched? Like, right? How many times? Like, only all the time, right? From people that, your husband, your bestie, it's a sport. And I said, it sounds like a blood sport. She's like, pretty much. So the applicability of the Lafayette way is phenomenal. And Crystal, as far as what you bring to the table for panache, for flair, for you do, and I love that about you so much. And what that does is it opens the dance floor for other people, and that's also becoming, if you will, physically verbal. It's no longer silence, speechless. It is living out loud, and then seeing who gets it and says, I love that. I want to know you. I want to know you. So thank you all. And Hawk, what you bring to the table is an awareness that, first of all, we're having a heck of an increase in dementia and Alzheimer's. In fact, in Europe, the number one cause of death is not heart attacks, not cancer for women, not anything you'd think. It's dementia. That's alarming. And so if for someone who's got those early stages of it, or working with someone who does, please give them a voice. Please take a chapter out of their life. Please share, because they have something to say still. And let's honor that, because everybody has something to share. They do. I don't know. I don't know how else to emphasize it, except that it makes a difference. It also makes a difference if we sit on our hands and do nothing. So pick one. That's all. Thanks for getting the book. Appreciate that.
I'm really hoping that we have like a speechless 2. You can put the number 2 on there and kind of double entendre, for the TOO. But because there was other stuff that I want to speak to so much, like especially dealing in like trauma for those people out there who maybe they're voiceless because of what's happened to them, like things some of the things that caused me to have a hard time living out loud, right, is like being told not to talk, being told that I shouldn't have a voice, being told, I feel like, there's an old school, be seen and not heard or something. But
Don't air your dirty
but
laundry outside. Children are better seen, not heard.
I think
Yeah.
ours is actually don't be seen or heard. Right? So ours is actually don't be seen or
The
heard.
song Speechless from the live action Aladdin, and I sent it to Lonnie when she told me about this. And I really feel like that song should be the anthem for this book. It really should. If you haven't heard the song, next time you're on YouTube, you definitely need to check out the song Speechless from Aladdin, because it's all about breaking that cycle of women are seen and not heard. You're going to do as I say, not as I do, breaking that societary mold, whether it's cultural, generational, it doesn't matter. I mean, my sister, forget it. She was large as life. She was not the picture perfect little, demure girl, and like my mom wanted. Now, granted, Sandy wasn't exactly quiet either, but she did get the straight A's. She towed the line at the same time, So, but Susan was like, no, I don't fit in this world, so I'm not going to be in it. She still loved all of us. She wanted, she did want mom's acceptance, but she wanted mom to accept her for her and not be in that box that mom wanted us in, And that to me is what Speechless is all about. We're not going to stay silent. We're not staying quiet anymore. We're allowed to be who we are inside. Now, granted, I have a few guidelines on that, do as you will, harm none. That's the code that I live by.
I'd like to pick up again. Thank you for that, honey. Hawk has a way with people that nobody else has had, and in their lives, and he's had a way, a good way with Nessie too, his dog. He's so fierce. The cops didn't want her. She was rejected because of her ferocity, and his strength is in that I see beyond this, and I unconditionally love anyway, and we're going to get through this. And he has morphed people that never had a voice, that never had acceptance, that I could go on. Please read the book, because of, if nothing else, if you're working with someone or you are that someone who is challenged, maybe you can find some kind of, somebody understands moment in here, in what he's added to this book, because we do have a world full of people that are slipping away. Like you said, Hawk, your friend slipped into dementia and he was gone. Yeah.
And I think it's so often that we judge people on the basis of a very, very tiny slice of their lives. I think that this is all they are. Just judge on the basis of some tiny little action, and we forget that there's a life behind that action. There are so many other levels. People exist on so many different planes, and if we only just go into and say that, okay, he, like the tea that I wrote about, he killed his own dog. Really went in and killed it with a knife. If you just judge that action alone, it's like, wow, this is harsh. This is really. But if you don't know his history, and also that he knew that he was getting, he had lost some of his physical functions, also his mental capacity. He knew that it would be dangerous to have a dog as erect as he had, if he couldn't control it. So the way I see it, it did come from something good in him. At the same time, of course, I would never be able to do something like that myself. So I could also gone into judgment mode, like so many people did in his immediate environment. But what does it help? What does it help to judge people? It doesn't really bring the world forward. If we all rely on this Instagram fame characteristics with smooth faces and plumped up lips and all of that, is that a good way to evaluate people's work, or should it be on the basis of, well, like Mighty, who had been a deep sea diver? He was the one who always went down where other people didn't dare to go because somebody relied on him to get the remains of people up from the North Sea.
Wow.
That is like, and that was probably also part of the reason that he got dementia, was that he had been a deep sea diver, gone really far down, much further than he was supposed to, because he did a service to others. And I think
Wow.
it's important that we, when we meet someone, that we bother to listen, that we take the time, we give them time to show who they truly are. I
That's
think
so
that is
true.
necessary.
It's so true. When I was talking with Sabrina the first time, I was recounting a housemate that I had, Roger, and my compassion just blossomed for Roger 30 years after this incident we had in the kitchen, where we were just like, "Come on, Roger, spit it out," and he would stammer. He would um, um, and we were just impatient, and I was sharing that with Lafayette too about a, a person who's introverted or differently abled or whatever needs patience and understanding and acceptance and a hand to hold versus one that wants to squash them down. And this show is supposed to be about living life to the fullest and no regrets. I look back now and I could easily kick myself with regret for not being as kind as I'd like to have been at the time. But when we don't understand something, we don't know what to do with it. And so awareness, then acceptance, and then action, we can create change once we realize, oh, hang on, I could do this a little differently next time. I hope they'll forgive me. I'll try to forgive myself
Hmm.
and do differently next time.
Yeah.
That's a life with no regrets.
Yeah, I remember one time, my mom was a psychologist and she worked mostly with people with labels schizophrenic or paranoid schizophrenic. And I remember I was at her home and one of her clients came in, and she had been she had been given so many drugs that you could see it in her face. Like really, and she was mostly nonverbal because of all the drugs that she had been fed up through the years. And I remember her; she saw me, and then she started marching around the room, and then she did the Sieg Heil greeting, and I was like, wow, is she telling me that I'm Hitler or something? What was this? But then I just got this. Then I remember, oh, yesterday I watched the news, and they were talking about the rise of the neo-right in Europe. And so I asked her, did you watch the news yesterday? And she looked at me and I said, did it scare you that when you saw that all of the neo-Nazis who were marching around with their fancy uniforms? And that look on her face when I said this, like, wow, somebody understood.
Oh,
It was like, wow. I really felt it. I still can
And
feel it when I talk about
and
it.
that moment is exactly why I put what I did on the screen. That is a banner that I made.
Mm.
It's not one of the comments and there. It's everybody wants to just be heard and accepted. And yes, we all want to feel loved, but everybody needs to feel heard. I worked in the dementia unit in a nursing home, and I loved my residents. I did. I adored them. They had, when they were lucid, they had amazing stories, and I would talk to their families, and they would give me some of their history and everything. So I was able to help them, especially in the evenings. The sundowning. For anybody that's worked with dementia people, you know, sundowning is a time of day when their symptoms are more severe. And it literally usually is right around sundown. It's when they're getting tired and they start slipping even more. And being supportive of them, especially when they're sundowning and everything, it can be hard. It can be frustrating, but at the same time, all they want is to be heard. I remember one of my residents was having like almost a panic attack, and everybody was just kind of being like not caring. And I knew that she loved music. Like she had like these Rolling Stones t-shirts and stuff like that. So I was in cleaning her room anyway, and I put my phone on YouTube and I pulled up like some Rolling Stones music and stuff like that. And I brought her into the room. I closed her door and we just hung out while I was cleaning her room, listening to the Stones, and it just calmed her down. And, she just talked to me. She pointed out like different little things, and it just helped. Just taking the time to remember a little thing like that, especially with somebody with dementia or something like that, makes them feel heard and accepted. And it gives them that little bit of love that they need in that moment. So, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna jump off screen real quick because I really need to use the ladies' room. So
don't lie about that. There's bigger things you could pick.
I'm gonna over to you because the book was your mastermind anyway. So I'm gonna let you decide who you want to talk to, who you want to put in the hot seat. Actually, we haven't heard much from the beautiful Sabrina, so why don't you put her in the hot seat a little bit?
Go scratch around the cat box. We'll be right here. Yeah, Sabrina. So I was watching you listen, and listening is just as vital as speaking. And right. So I just want, and as you are a speaker as well. I didn't mean to mix the two together, but that's what you've done, isn't it? Is you've really listened to what's going on and then made something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, as an introvert, we are good listeners. We tend to not speak up in a setting like this, but unless I'm leading it, then in fact I will lead it, guide it, and pick on everyone to speak up and share if they are so inclined. But yeah, as introverts, we're very internal thinkers. We like to listen. We like attention to details. And actually, that's kind of what I was talking about on our Networking for Introverts this past Wednesday. We talked about like celebrations. And as introverts, we don't always like to be the center of attention. And I mostly focused it around birthdays because it was, in fact, my birthday. So I was like, well, I might as well talk about it as a celebration. But only, it's like, not only is it your birthday or a wedding or baby shower or anything, like maybe a corporate thing too, like something at work where someone's going to celebrate you, and you really have to be upfront and honest and speak up about how you like to be celebrated, because people don't read your mind. And if they can do the outside kind of planning, you can step back and be celebrated. But attention to detail. So you can do all the little things, all like the little bows and the little gifts and the place settings and things like that. But yeah, as an introvert, we like to listen and observe, and then take the time to craft our response, not just respond rapid fire.
It would be frustrating if it takes a while to craft a response and the conversation has moved on. Yeah.
Yeah, and communicating that too, especially if you are in a meeting, whether it's virtual or it's in person, communicating that to whoever's leading the meeting ahead of time can help you to craft your response later, to send it in later, but also to let them know that you're not just being rude and not speaking up. You do have something to say, but it just will take you a little time to craft it very well.
Yeah. I'm noticing there can be some confusion, or certainly within myself, depending on the day of the Myers-Briggs. It either comes out introvert or extrovert, with the other three letters exactly the same. So can you just kind of speak quickly to how does a person recognize, and does it help to recognize where they are, how they are?
Yeah, well, the easiest way to recognize if you're an introvert is if you like to be in smaller groups and you recharge your batteries being at home alone or in nature. And as an extrovert, they love being out in crowds. They love being out in crowds, and they actually are built up their energy by being around people. And what I talk about in the book is how I call myself a developing extrovert, because we can all learn new skills, and we all should learn new skills because it keeps us fresh. But it's just learning from the extrovert and then stepping into that from time to time.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And she's back.
Yay.
Yes. That I will let the introvert, stop if she'd like.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm enjoying my questions.
One thing that I do find funny about just within myself is, even if they're like, I was very extroverted as a child. I was very much the social butterfly. I mean, like, I wanted to be everybody's friend. But after going through the trauma of a 9-year abusive relationship, during the relationship, I became very, very much introverted. And it's taken me a while to get out of that. But because of those experiences, I'm kind of like in between the most extroverted introvert, because there are times where I'm perfectly fine. I love doing stuff like this. I promoted this book before, trying to get writers and talking about it. The day that I signed on board with Lonnie, I made a live right away.
Yeah.
I did an impromptu live yesterday. And then there's days where all I want to do is sit in my little cubby, as you can see, my little zone, and color or write. I often joke, I'm not adulting today. I'm going in my pillow fort and
my pillow fort. I love it. Sorry.
And I'm done.
It's
awesome. Anybody that wants to join me and not be an adult, you're more than welcome to do it. But, I have gotten to that point where I'm okay with being alone. And there's a lot of times anymore that I would rather be alone than with a bunch of people. I'm good with my social interactions being like this, virtual. And then if I do go out and with friends and stuff, I'd rather be a small group. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my concerts. I will never stop going to music concerts. But I won't be on the floor anymore, like in the thick of it. I would rather have a seat safe away. And now, is that something that you've come across with your introvert group, to where people have been like that, where it's like as kids they were very outgoing, but then something happened and that part of them just kind of died, I guess?
Yeah. And when you were talking about that, there was a few people that came to mind in similar relationships, abusive relationships, where they used to be really outgoing. And I mean, they're still smart, but they used to be outwardly smart and, speak up about their intelligence. And now, because of those relationships, it's taken years to gain their confidence, and now they are more of an introvert. Plus, I think sometimes as adults we just don't want to be around a ton of people, and so we can shift, and everybody shifts. Like even the extroverts, they can shift and hide from time to time, especially with the shyness. Like extroverts can be shy at times. It's just if they feel a little bit intimidated in a crowd, then their shyness can come out. But yeah, I have seen that, and I've heard stories, and people's stories do come to mind when we talk about that.
And I would like to add a little something to this. If you shine your light brightly, there are people who will take advantage of you. And when I talk of this, I'm talking energetically. There are like vampires who prey on other people's energy. And if you had that experience often enough, then you start to become more choosy. You have to know the crowd that you hang out with, because you know that if you're in a huge crowd, there might be somebody who's just, I want what he or she has. And so I think that is also part of that. If you are sensitive and you shine, you are someone who's got a strong shine, as they talk about in books, then you experience this, and it's not very comfortable when somebody drains you of energy. It's really, and
Yeah,
then
the
you also
interest-
need the downtimes that you talk about, being in a little cubicle and being, I'm not an adult right now. I'm just gonna be here, be me.
Yeah. Now more than ever. Who else are you going to be, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Beautiful observations, guys. Yeah. So I'm over here fondling the book. I'm going to one more time. I am. Come on. It feels so good. It does. I hope that this conversation has inspired the listeners and will continue to find their voice and use it for whatever reason, whether it was a bad relationship or parents that said, I certainly had narcissistic bully parents who didn't say the nicest things, and it would really, kick the stool out from under you, basically, rip your voice box out. And then they get their power from that. Like Hawk was saying, some people get their power by taking it from you. But those are temporary situations. They're temporary conditions. We can change our mind and decide to rewrite the next chapter and reinvigorate the person that we were born to be. We can revive it. We can become our own winged phoenix again. And go ahead.
Or a skinny phoenix like me.
Yes. Yes.
Now, before we go, I do want to do a round robin of upcoming projects, whether it's writing projects, coaching, or whatever that we all have coming up. Lonnie, you're going last because I even have a visual aid for yours. Okay. So I'm actually gonna buck society norm, and I'm gonna say gentlemen first for a change.
Okay.
Since because I can do that. It's my show.
Yeah, I'm part of this. It's a new book coming out called Soul Stories about awakening, and I don't remember when it's going to be released. I've written my chapter, and I continue writing. I write either in my head or with the pen or with my iPad or something every day, music and stories and whatnot.
Since you didn't
Because
give me a link for you for people to be able to contact you, I linked to your YouTube channel to be able to find you. Since you
Yeah.
didn't give me a link to be able to post for you. So is that a good way to be able to get a hold of you? Do you have any of your socials on there to be able to check out your writing and stuff?
I don't remember, and might be easier if they go to amancient.one. Then they find some links to my socials.
If you drop that in the chat, I will put it in the comments.
Okay, I will do
Okay.
that. Yeah.
And Izzy, I love it. My beautiful friend Izzy, she makes all my banners for YouTube. She says that you have a very kind and gentle voice.
Thank you.
So I just had to put that out there. Now, how many books have you written in like whether solo or anthology?
I have a couple of books up. That's my solo projects. Links on the ancient one. And then I've been working with Lani 4 books now, isn't it, Lani? I love every one of them. I love the process. Yeah, and I'm always working on something in my head. So, yeah, not like that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to join us today from overseas. I mean, and it looks like it's almost nighttime over there.
Well, yeah, we're the land of the midnight sun. That's Norway. So, but that's only up north. Here in we have early sundowns, so it's only 7:15.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Hawk, and I can't wait to hear more from you. So now, Sabrina or Lafaya, who wants to go next? Okay, I pick. So I'm gonna put Lafaya. Once I can get a hold of like control of my screen again. There we go. So now Lafaya is got a couple of different projects going on, and I know she said she was going to help support the Rise Survivor anthology and things like that. But so what have you got coming up besides, you know, your poker tournaments, which I just think is so awesome? You're muted, babe.
Unmute. Yep. Okay. So it like gave me the warning after a second. But anyway, I'm going to be working on another book with Lonnie. We will actually be writing a book about women in poker. So like the mental, kind of the mental game side. Well, I really want to say like kind of the mental health side of the game, because there's so much that we have to go through. I have so much to share with my super crazy life with everybody out there, and kind of a you can do this. Like I have a career, a husband, 6 freaking kids, 3 of them are under 7 and under. You know, life is very, very crazy. But if you can make a way, you can make a way, and you can get through it mentally if you know the right things to do, like the right ways to take care of yourself and your mind. So that's my next project. And I also have a kid book that I'm writing, but I'm not going to talk about that one yet because I'm really excited about it. But I'll be working on that one later. So I'll talk about that one later. But that's what I'm working on for now.
Awesome. Now the beautiful Sabrina, it's your turn.
Thank you. I'm just looking to get on stages and on podcasts through or for this book, and to promote my introverts group. I want to be able to help people have a voice and speak up, even when they feel scared or shy or intimidated. I just want to be able to help them to share. So yeah, I'm looking to speak at conferences locally and eventually travel, and then also podcasts and shows similar to this. So thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. It was a joy. Now, I am going to give the mic to the beautiful Lonnie Ray because we have a last of the year project. Now, give me a moment.
Yay! All right. Yes, volume 12. You know, it's so funny, guys, is I never know what's going to be next. You have, for people like me willing to live on the edge, it's okay because things can evolve in ways that you would surprise even you, even though you think you know what you're doing. It's okay not to. And that has to do with how Speechless evolved. And then volume 12 came about, and I struggled with it since August. Is there going to be a 12? Is there going to be a 12? Well, guys, as soon as I said, let's do a 12, and I created that cover the other day, oh my gosh, the people that are showing up to do volume 12 and coming back. Charles Caldwell got in touch. He says, I'm in it. I'm in. Where do you guys meet Charles tomorrow? Oh, what a guy. And Anka Herman from My Fur Baby. She's coming back. There's other people that have expressed interest thanks to the connections through you guys. That's the beauty of collaborations, right? Is the additional, the spread of networks and networking that we can do with like-minded people. So I'm deeply honored with the opportunity to be able to share people's story. Lisa Mari has been out of the scene for a while. She's from Rattled Awake a few times over there in Australia. And with now that volume 12 is going to happen, she's going to jump in again because she's now launching a midlife coaching program that will blow you away. And this is why I love what I do. I'm very, very honored. And I thank you for the opportunity to share this with your audience, Crystal, and with you guys. Thank you for trusting me to help you, because story development is my jam. As much as I'm excited about volume 12, this little project with LaFaya is fireworks. I'm so freaking excited. I can't wait. And the deadline, TikTok, look at the clock. It is fast. Talk about taking the zip line to the finish line. We're going to get a book done in record time. And I mean like 2 weeks, a whole book. Like a whole one. Like, it's doable, and it turns me on to help people to have the tool that will make the difference in their life. So those are the two things that I'm up to right now, and we'll see what else happens. You never know.
Well, I just want to say thank you all for being here and for being a part of this project with me and with Lonnie. This project meant a lot because my sister meant a lot to me, and each of our stories, while so different, all have that same message of hope, and just breaking out and being heard. And all of Lonnie's books and Brainchild have that message in them, whether they're comedic or not, because Lonnie's got quite a few funny ones, like solo projects that she's done that are hilarious. And My Fur Baby wrote this book, adorable and fun. I mean, not all of our, books have a serious tone. They're,
right.
This project development that we do, I mean, when it comes to the workshops for the Rattled Awake and for this, we write a chapter with her in a weekend, and then she works this beautiful magic and edits it and puts it all together to where it's a just seamless flow, and publishes in a week. Like, she gets our finalized chapters by Monday night. And within 3 days, if that, we're live. I mean, the fact that you can do that quickly is just astounding. And I mean, I own all of the Rattled Awake books. I have supported every single one. I'm in two of them, and I love both of my chapters. I'm to this day, I still hold true. Rattled Awake 12, All That Glitters Isn't, or Rattled Awake 10, All That Glitters Isn't Gold is my best anthology chapter yet. I love my chapter about for my sister, but I still hold true. All That Glitters Isn't Gold, is just that piece for me. With all of my work and my personal writing, everything, that piece. And Lonnie, that was probably the one that you actually had to do the most editing for me. We went back and forth on that one.
We had a lot of phone calls. That's what we do. That's what I
Yeah.
do, story development. And it makes such a difference to have someone else come in that you trust. And you thank you for your trust again, Crystal, that can see more than you can see for yourself. And so, you got your first draft down on paper, and then I came in with the questions, and then that refined it. And then bam, you got a beautiful declaration that is very moving. It's a great chapter, and it's an important one.
And it really did teach me about writing. And, I've written in now 6 anthologies myself. And I always go back to what you taught me that very first Rattled Awake I did about not triggering not re-traumatizing your readers, having how to build your hook. And it just, the lessons that I learned from you, I have implemented in all of my writing since. And it's like I've learned so much just from the 3 workshops that I've done with you. And it's like, I look at Rattled Awake 3, and I love that piece. It was my call to action for the Survivor anthology that I'm doing. And it's like, I look at how much I've progressed from that to All That Glitters, and I'm like, wow. And it's been legit now 13 months since we started working together. And it's amazing to me just how much Rattled Awake has grown. I've grown as a writer. You've grown in your business. And you just keep bringing us all back in together. Introducing me to more amazing people. Lafayette and I just hit it off, like talking all the time. Hawk and I have been talking about music and stuff. I haven't really gotten to know Sabrina yet, but that's going to change. You do more than just editing and publishing.
Thank you, Crystal.
You build communities with these. You bring us together.
Thank you, Lafayette. Thank you, guys.
And our brother Jay on LinkedIn, he straight up, he's like, coordinating and editing. It isn't easy. It is amazing. And you've taught me a lot about writing and, how to help when people get stuck, things like that. Because I've had friends come to me and be like, I'm stuck in the story. And I'm like, okay, what would Lonnie do? I'll own it. I actually think in my head, okay, I've told friends, I'm like, okay, send me where you are and let's go. Let's go through it like you and I have done on the phone. Yes, I do. I remember how you work with me. And I do utilize not all of it, but some of it. I've got my own little tweaks in it, but you have helped guide me with my writing, and I do take to heart a lot of the lessons that I've learned and have implemented it in my own writing, and how I've been able to help others when they've come to me with questions about writing or about any of it, more than just writing, just getting stuck in that moment. Because how many of our writers get stuck in the moment, in the memory, in the story? You've helped me get out of it 3 different times. being stuck in a story. And twice it wasn't even a project for you. It was just my own project. And you just, because you're my friend, helped me get past it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It is an inspiration and it is a help. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Wow.
For that.
Thank you so much, Crystal.
So
Wow. I think there's something to be said for the collaboration and for all of you guys willingly showing up and saying, let me be part of this, because it opens the opportunities to see and grow and try and do so much more than we even imagined for ourselves. And it's amazing what you can do when you don't know you can't. And all you need is someone who stands there and says, I see more for you than you may for yourself. And I'm here through the process. You don't have to, like flounder on your own and say, your chapter's due in a week, TikTok. It's like, if I knew how to write, I would have written by now. So that's the difference between the kind of workshops that we do. It isn't pressure, it's precision. It's collaboration and cooperation and trust. And then we link arms into a hell of a book blitz, and we change everybody's lives, the writers and the readers. And it can happen quickly. Too many people have been burned by collaborations and stinking thinking and you don't even know when your book's going to come out. And that makes me sad. I've been through that. So that's why I want to make it different, and I want to make a difference. I believe we all have a gift that we were born to express through. And Hawk is a beautiful writer. Crystal, your writing blew me away. I was like, is it AI? Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what's changed? Lafayette, you have a wonderful way of expressing what you were born to say. People are like, oh, they think that my thing is writing. It's actually not. It's giving you guys a voice. As a story development coach, that's the thing I love to do the most. I'm in 16 books now. Every month I go, what am I going to write about this time? 2 of them are my own, but every month it's kind of hard for me. And I know what you go through. I go through the workshop with you. And I understand what it's like to draw out stuff and go, okay, here's how it went. And do it in a way that serves your mission, your message, and your business. So it is my absolute honor, pleasure. And even, I just want to stand here on record for being over 60 and saying, you know what, it's never too late to reinvent yourself. Just get the eraser out or turn the page and write something else, because it's totally possible. In fact, if it's calling to you, it is for you. So thank you for the opportunity.
absolutely. And by the way, the LinkedIn user is actually Alicia, one of our co-authors.
Hey, Alicia! Yay!
It is actually her. I cheated. I went on my phone to LinkedIn because unfortunately with StreamYard, we cannot comment on the comment side for LinkedIn. So I have to cheat and go on my phone. So
thank you, Alicia. Thanks for showing up. She had a great story on your mother. Boy, that one transformed a lot too. That's the value of working with somebody who's really, not to toot my own horn, but just a gift. It's just a gift. You have your gifts, I have mine. And to be able to transmute what you're trying to say into something that really is what your heart wanted to say all along, is a collaborative effort. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, she actually posted your workshops and story development skills are off the charts, Lonnie. For some reason, up there it goes. Now it finally popped up. I guess my computer's lagging a little.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we have been live for over an hour and a half, and I am not gonna lie, I'm hungry, and I unfortunately, well, it's sad, but it's needed. I have to take one of our fur babies to the vet. She's 15, she can't move. It's time. So we, instead of her not being in pain, because she can't eat or anything, we're taking her to the vet to have her go to sleep. So I do need to take care of that. she's lived a long life. It's sad for us, but we don't want her to be in pain. I mean, she can't eat or anything anymore, so we're going to let her go to doggy heaven. She's 15, so I think it's long life.
That's like hundreds in dog years, right? That's like really old.
So,
Well, depending on the size, it's like 87.
she's a mid-size.
Change a little bit after,
All the best, Crystal. And thank you, everybody, for spending your time, both in the weekend and the book blitz and right now. So appreciate you. Thank you to the audience, to your crew. Crystal, you really do have a strong crew. Hey, there's college level Hogwarts showing up again. Right on. All right. I so appreciate being included in this. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow's conversation with Charles Caldwell. His story, if you haven't read Speechless, it will rattle you awake. Charles's story is ridiculous and it's beautiful. It's amazing. And he'll be on tomorrow. So until then, thank you.
Love you guys.
I can do half words.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me happy.
I will see you guys tomorrow. Love you all. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And hi, fur baby. And we will talk soon. So have a wonderful rest of your day. And big hugs. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Lafayette, Hawk, Lonnie, Sabrina already had to run. And apparently it's her birthday because Misha, I have to give you such big thanks. You were on the ball as my mod. You were dropping links. Heck, you were even dropping links that I didn't ask. You were dropping Lonnie's authors page, the different books for her. I mean, you were on the ball. You found Sabrina's Facebook page, found out it was her birthday. Thank you so much, Misha. I love you. Misha is awakened by the looking glass, by the way.
Awakened, you're awesome, by the way.
So,
I want to tell you that.
Thank you so much for that and for all your support, guys, both on LinkedIn and YouTube. We will see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Crystal.
Mm-hmm.